Hello again, I'm Nicole, and for this project we're going to be making stencils. So for today's materials, we're going to have construction paper, paint, scissors, and some paintbrushes. We're also going to have tape to tape down our stencils when we print it. So have you ever made a snowflake before? You kind of just fold the paper in half and then cut different designs into it. This is kind of what we're going to be doing today, but creating different shapes. So what I have here is some construction paper, and I'm going to fold it in half. And for this first one, I'm going to start making very organic, loose shapes. So I'm going to just cut away and make kind of a spiky looking thing. And this is what I have. This in itself could be a stencil, and this could be a stencil right here. So I'm going to use that and put that aside. I'm going to make a lot of different shapes in stencils. So I'm going to do another one. So that's a stencil. Next, I have a bigger piece of paper, and I drew what looked like a flower design, and I'm going to try to cut out two stencils out of this one, the outer one and then an inner one. So I have two pieces, this right here, which could be its own stencil, and this one. But I'm actually going to cut this one again because I have my lines here that I want to create like another flower with. So now that you have a good amount of stencils that you feel happy with, ooh, that one looks cool. I'm gonna start sort of arranging them in a way that I think looks cool and figuring out which ones I would wanna use. So next step is putting ink or paint onto your palette paper. And I already have some paint on here, but I'm gonna add a little bit more paint. And I think I'm gonna add some more green. So next you're gonna grab the paper that you're gonna print on, and I'm gonna print on orange paper. And you're gonna place your stencil down. I'm gonna show you how to print with the biggest one. And there's lots of different techniques you can do with this, but what I'm gonna do is use a paintbrush to lightly dab around the edges. One thing to remember with this is not to use too much paint because it can be very thick and you may waste a lot of paint. So what I would actually recommend doing is grabbing a little bit of water and thinning the paint out and then dabbing it after. Cool, so I have my water and I just put my paintbrush in it to kind of get it wet. And let's see, I think I'm gonna make this outside flower red. Just add a little bit more water and kind of mix it so it's a milky consistency perhaps. And I'm gonna use my hands to hold the stencil down, but you can also use tape to hold it down so that it doesn't move when you are painting. So I'm just gonna lightly dab it. You can also actually just paint it. There's different techniques, whichever one works for you. So now that I did my outside, I'm gonna take off this stencil and let's see how it looks. Ooh, okay, very interesting. So I'm gonna put this aside and use this piece to create another stencil. And I'm gonna use the color blue for this middle part. All right, so let's see how it looks when I take it off. Ooh, nice. I think I'm gonna do even more. Maybe I'll put this organic stencil on top of that. And with this one, I'm gonna tape it down and paint all over it. Whereas before I was only painting the edges, this one I'm gonna actually paint the full inside of it. So there's lots of different ways that you can use stencils. All right, and there you have it. A nice looking flower made out of stencils. You can experiment with lots of different styles, shapes, anything you'd like. Thanks.